Have you ever felt like you're the only one that exists? Like if you leave a room, the room will cease to exist. Or if your friend leaves your house, your friend will cease to exist and you're the only one that is experiencing this experience? Well, you're not wrong, but you're also not right. This is actually the concept of solipsism, thinking that you are the only one that exists. And it actually is rooted in a spiritual experience, which is tied to the law of oneness, which we're gonna cover right now in this video. But not only am I gonna cover it using obviously spiritual knowledge, but I'm also going to cover it using what I've experienced, because I've experienced the law of oneness, like a full-blown spiritual experience. And I'm also going to talk about how you can use this truth to your advantage as a creator of your reality, which is what you are, my friends. So let's get to it. So the law of oneness is a spiritual concept that basically states that we are all one, right? Like you are me, I am you, you are everything, and you are the plants, and you are the insects, and you are even like the wall, like everything, okay? Everything. I mean, like the culmination of this entire reality is you. And you is God, right? So everything is God. Better word. Everything is God. God is in you, God is in me, God is in everything. Okay, so that like accumulation is the oneness. The first time I ever got into like the law of oneness, I got into it through the Hermeticism. And in Hermeticism, which is basically the foundation to a bunch of spiritual practices, ancient cultures like Sumerians, Egyptians, right? It comes from Egypt, the Aztecs, the Incas, and even the cultures that we see today in the world are still based off of these 7 principles that come from Hermeticism. It's an Egyptian philosophy created by Hermes Trismegistus, but we're not gonna get too much into the philosophy today, just specifically the principle of the all is mind, which is aka like the law of one. So the all is mind states that everything is part of one mind, and that is the mind of the all, God, right? They say the all, it's God. There's just one mind, that's it, that's all that exists. And everything in existence is inside the mind of the all. It's just, it's merely a thought of the all, right? We're like a breath of God. So you're not directly the all, but you are inside the mind of the all, and your mind is connected to the mind of the all, and it is all one. So yes, technically we are one, according to this philosophy, which I wholeheartedly, by the way, believe in. But yes, that's basically the concept, right? So when people have solipsism, it's because they are experiencing a part of this truth. But it's not all of the truth either. Because in solipsism, you tend to think that you're the only one that exists. You're the only one that is experiencing all of this, which is just half truth. They also say in Hermeticism, everything is but half truths. The principle of correspondence. Since everything is half truth, it's not that, well, yes, if you leave a room, technically it does literally disappear, as explained in the double slit experiment, the young double slit experiment. Basically, how if nobody's staring at a particle, the particle becomes light. It becomes nothing, basically, like into the infinite field of possibilities. Until somebody observes it, it doesn't solidify into place. So yes, that's true. Before we get into how it works, let me tell you about my experience. So when I was younger, I was like 17, I had just had my spiritual awakening. This was a super long time ago. I was experimenting with psychedelics, and I had already had pretty spiritual trips. Now, I had this one specific day, I'm not gonna get into the full story, but I decided to take half a tab. And even though it was half a tab, I decided to smoke a little tiny bit of you know what. And that just made my trip this super intense, super in-depth trip. And that was actually the trip that broke my brain. But that's a whole other story. Anyways, in this trip, one of the millions of truths that I saw that broke my brain was the law of one. And the way that I saw it was that we are all this one being. If you are here watching this right now and you're staring at me in the camera, I am you, but I am you in another incarnation. I could be you in an incarnation in the past or in the future incarnation that you still haven't done. But it's like the same exact soul is jumping from person to person until it fulfills all human lives. And each level of human awareness contributes to like what level the soul is in. So for example, if you were to meet a super ignorant person, that would be one of your younger lives. right? So that's kind of how I saw it. The way that I saw it was, I saw my heart, it was like this red ball, and I saw my heart like going into each and every single human being, and I was becoming those human beings as my heart went in it. My heart went into my friend, and it was like I got my friend's memories, and I got my friend's perception as well. Like if I had already lived her life, I was like, no way, because I mean, we're here right now. But obviously time doesn't work that way. I'm talking about divine time. You could be your mom next life, right? You can even be in the future 2,000 years from now in your next life, because time just doesn't work the way that you think it does. You could have been Hitler. You could have been the worst person in the world, and you could also have been Jesus. So that is just, it's a super crazy truth. I am so blessed to have experienced it firsthand. And I know a lot of you, or maybe some of you, won't believe it, and you'll just take this video with a grain of sand, but that's kind of how it is.
Hello, beautiful souls. So I just wanted to add, because I forgot, that experience I had very closely resembles the egg theory, which is like the same concept, like we're all one, we're all just one soul jumping from human to human. And I had actually never seen that video or that concept in my entire life, like that we're all one, ever before I had that experience, which actually makes it 1,000 times more valid to me, because I had never even heard of the concept or seen it. But anyways, after I had the experience, I went looking for if other people had the experience, and they had. It was actually a very huge spiritual truth, right? And that's when I actually became like, wow, like I really did see that. Like, that's beautiful, right? But yeah, I just want to add that in. Love you guys.
And you know what? Like the interesting thing about that experience, and just overall like this entire concept, is that it brings forgiveness to like a whole other level. Because now you kind of understand why forgiveness is so important in so many different cultures, like Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, just letting go of that resentment towards people. And this truth takes us to a whole other level, because it means that you are bringing that compassion to the table to your younger selves. Because obviously, if people are doing very harsh things to the world, if they're hurting others, they're doing horrible, heinous things, like they are also you, but when you were younger, so they didn't have that much awareness. Once again, I'm so grateful for that experience and for the fact that I was able to tap into that again multiple times in my life. But it has brought a whole other level of forgiveness. It's almost like saying, I see the God in you, I see myself in you, and I see that you are still working through things, and you will figure it out one day. It's like a whole other level of just love. That's what it is. It's love. That's why we love. And there's no freaking way of evolving without that love. And we learn to love ourselves here. And love ourselves, I don't mean just love yourself, like your ego, your identity as a human being. I mean also like love the world, love reality, love the people in it, the animals, like that life that is breathed into the human experience. That's what I mean with love. The way that I see it with solipsism, because solipsism and oneness are very different, right? Oneness is more of like, we're all in this together, we're all one, we're all God, like I am God, everything is God, right? But there's no like disconnection from everything around you. When it comes to solipsism, it's, believe it or not, it's actually very egocentrical. It's like your ego takes this truth and makes you the only one that exists. So when you start to interact with other people, it feels like it's a game, an illusion. You leave the room, that room no longer exists, whatever. It puts you in this very egocentrical place. It's not bad. I mean, like I went through that as well at some point in my life. And I think a lot of people do go through that. And I don't say like you're egocentrical, but it does come from the ego. So when you start to disconnect from those around you, you're invalidating the experience of the other person, and the other person is also you. So when you start to be like, I'm the only one that exists, technically you literally are, okay? Because in the grand scheme of things, we're all one and we're all God. But since time doesn't work the way that we think it does, the experience of the other person is also happening, but in another timeline, let's say like another incarnation. When you disconnect yourself from others, you hinder your own growth, because you are in this experience for a reason as well. Like we're not meant to disconnect from that truth. We're actually meant to embrace it, because that's the only way to grow. Because self-love and love for others needs to go hand in hand with each other. Otherwise, self-love becomes cockiness, and that's not really self-love. And then if you don't have this one, love for others becomes codependence. So we need like a nice little balance between self-love and love for others, and that's how we have like maintain a nice relationship with the reality that you're experiencing in this realm. So if you're dealing with solipsism and you want to achieve that state of like integrating that truth into something more connected, right? Like you want to connect back to reality. You don't want to just be like the one alone, right? You want to work on seeing the God in other people quite a lot. Like work on forgiveness, work on connecting with the people around you, work on realizing that everything's a mirror. So we're gonna get into that, because realizing everything is a mirror is also part of like using this truth of oneness, the all is mind principle, as a way to reflect on yourself and to work with yourself and also ascend basically in this plane. The way that you use it is to realizing that your entire reality is a mirror. Okay, like there's no freaking, like there's nothing in your reality that is not a mirror. Like nothing. Okay, if you have something in your reality, like let's say you get out of your house and then there's somebody who's getting in a fight outside of your house, well, you are not getting in a fight, but you attracted that in some way, shape, or form. Okay, there is nothing in your reality that you are not attracting in some way, shape, or form. Okay, everything that is in your subconscious mind is going to attract your entire reality, down to the colors of your wall, down to the people that are in your daily life, whether they're strangers, whether they're friends, lovers, family members. Everything is a projection of your entire mind. But I mean, like, really think about it. If everything is a mirror of your mind, that means that you're consistently inside your mind. And at the same time, if you can become aware, you can also notice how your higher mind is speaking to you, how that godly self that we're all connected to, right? Because I told you, we are connected to the mind of God, right? Well, God speaks to you all the freaking time. You can call it your higher self, your quantum self, God, whatever. I call it God, and I do see it as my higher self. But you can literally notice how it speaks to you every single day. And this is where the concept of synchronicities comes from. We have talked about in this video right here. You guys should go check it out. You can also see the patterns in your subconscious mind that keep you in a loop, right? Keep you in those toxic patterns. And if you analyze your reality from a point of view of symbolism, because the subconscious mind speaks in symbolism, if you can learn how to work with your reality like it is literally a mirror, you will gain a relationship with yourself that is just something you have never experienced, because you are literally inside a full-blown spiritual experience right now, because you're freaking spirit, bro. You're a spirit. So of course your entire reality it's paranormal in its sense. It's supernatural, and you just need to notice it. It is a mirror. It gives you back a mirror. Who are your friends, right? How's your relationship with your parents? How is your relationship with the people around you? Or when small little inconveniences happen to you, how are you reacting? How is everything coming together in your reality? What job do you have? What life do you live? That will tell you more about yourself than anything else can, okay? Than anything else. So that is really what the law of oneness brings. Super interesting, by the way. Another thing that is really interesting is divination. So have you heard that you're co-creating this reality, right? It's because you have a higher mind, and that higher mind is co-creating everything with you. Spirit guides, demons, aliens as well, reptilians, all of those are also different incarnations of you. Like, that is the crazy thing. Like, everything is one. Everything is God. God is just experiencing all these different dimensions, all these different planes, all these different entities, everything in divine timing. And you will become all these different things. That's why there's like these hierarchies. A lot of spiritual masters say that eventually after our human life, we will become angels. But perhaps those angels that we will become are working with us right now. And that's really just you in the future helping yourself. So that's kind of what I want to paint for you today. Anyways, those are my thoughts for today, because I've gotten so many different comments. Some people ask me what I think God is, what I think the oneness is, like to explain the concept. And so here it is. That's my point of view on it. I'll definitely be covering more topics in the comments below. Actually, let me know what I should speak about next. I'd love that. And of course, if you're looking to really tap into your highest potential using the spiritual, then don't forget to subscribe, and also check out all my resources below to learn how you can truly, truly become a master creator of your reality through the metaphysical. I'll see you on the next video.